I want to tell you a story about a little man, if I can. Don't say it. Not me.
Can. Okay.
A gnome named Grimble Grumble. You're never going to know that, are you?
No.
I'll tell you after this. Is it?
That rings a bell.
Pink Floyd, that.
Yeah.
Sid Barrett.
I had heard that. How weird.
Yeah, it is very weird.
Floyd fan?
Yeah, I've actually, again, we're wanking on about our vinyl purchases, aren't we? But yes, I've bought Wish You Were Here and Dark Side of the Moon recently. Have you heard about this? Dark Side. Apparently, if you start Dark Side of the Moon on the third lion roar of the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer lion,
Yeah.
at the beginning of Alice in Wonderland, not Alice in Wonderland. What's the Yellow Brick Road?
Oh, The Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Apparently, it all syncs in a really sort of mind-bending way.
Can't it be something they did on purpose?
Well, I no, apparently not. But it's apparently it's completely overwhelming. I haven't done it because I can't bring myself to watch. What's it called again?
The Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Yeah, yeah. The Tin Man freaks me out.
Well, yeah, fair dues.
Anyway, yeah, so, a bit of a Floyd fan. I've also seen, because there was David Gilmore was on social media recently playing Wish You Were Here at a jam night with his daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And I've also seen a few things about his guitar rig. I think he's just released a new solo album.
Yeah.
At 90.
Oh, I think I saw something about that too. Interesting.
Yeah.
I saw them live once.
Did you?
Yeah, Nebworth 90.
Yeah.
I was there. It was really interesting, actually. I won tickets to that on the day. My friends had already gone. I managed to not only get into a crowd of 125,000 people and find my friends, it was also like all the sort of biggest, coolest bands of the day playing. So that one day when I was 16, I got to see, like, Paul McCartney was playing, Tears for Fears were playing.
I had that on video. Eric Clapton, Dire Straits, all of that.
It was immense. Yeah. Like, it was all the biggest stars of the last 30 years. Everyone played a set, and so did Status Quo, and a few others. But
I love a bit of Status Quo.
Cliff Richard was a bit weird. It was a bit weird, but it was a cool day. But it was a long day, and it was in the days when changeovers between bands were long. So they had a revolving stage, but even so, it was a 20-minute gap between each band. So there was and 125,000 people in the field. You just
stood there like that.
You could just about sit down. It was a hell of a day. And then the last band of the night, kind of like the headliner, was Pink Floyd. And it had rained so heavily earlier in the day that, their big lighting thing, the big circle.
Yeah.
It had been stored in the roof of the stage horizontally, full up with water. So when they tipped it out, it all ripped. So that never got used. So we never got to see the big Pink Floyd thing. But they did have these wicked lasers. No one else had lasers.
Yes, I think I remember, yeah.
Green lasers fire. It was very cool, but I think I watched like 3 songs and then me and my mates went, should we go home? Yeah, let's go home. Yeah. So I heard Pink Floyd walking out of Nebworth Park
as
when I was
leaving.
16. Yeah.
Interesting.
It was, I've listened to it since, obviously. It's epic, isn't it?
Yeah,
And the recording is mind-blowing of a lot of that.
Yeah, a lot of it's Abbey Road, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've met what's his name, who's the guy that recorded it, the engineer, who's now Alan Parsons. He's sort of a friend of a friend. I've met him a couple of times and chatted to him. He's a really nice guy. But yeah, he was the young engineer that did all the.
It's a bit weird, isn't it? Because Roger Waters is a bit of a controversial character, isn't he? He got cancelled recently because of he tours the wall, but he dresses up in an SS outfit, doesn't he, for part of it?
If you're going to dress up as the SS, expect to get
cancelled. But he had, I can't remember what his reasoning for it was, but he got some. It was apparently against all of that.
I just had it in a wardrobe, just chucked it on. Didn't mean to wear it.
I got my dinner down my other clothes. Yeah. I've never been a big fan of Nick Mason's drumming either, but that's probably quite controversial.
That probably is.
And I can't remember the keyboard player's name.
I don't think I ever knew it. Anyway.
No. Okay, so there we go. What are we looking at today, Dr. V?
Today, Dan, we are looking at something that's of a similar age. It's from Undertone Audio and Mixland have got together to bring us the Unfairchild plugin. Now, they've been making the hardware copy or, version of the Fairchild for some time, and now they have turned it into a plug-in, which there's still a lot of regard for the Fairchild.
Yeah,
it's still one of those mystical pieces of gear because they're so rare. You so rarely see them. People hold them in very high regard, which is weird, really, because they're quite strange and not massively useful in the studio a lot of the time. They're a bit odd, but they have done a very faithful reproduction here. You can see the GUI is pretty stunning. Yeah, it looks like a brand new Fairchild, which, or to be fair, it looks like the Unfairchild, which is probably what the plan was. So yeah, let's go through it from
I'll get
looking at the GUI.
Then,
yeah, get comfy. So obviously we've got the VUs on the left, and then we have got your meter select. Generally, whack that on gain reduction. You want to see what you're doing. You've then got your big input gain control, followed by your threshold control. You can see from the markings on it that this will work in mid-side mode 2, which is fantastic. Obviously the original wouldn't unless you ran it through a matrix, so this is really nice to be able to run one of these in mid-side. You've then got your time constants, which on the original Fairchild you had, I think it was 1 to 6 on the original. This has variation extras, so VAR 1, 2, 3 and 4, which basically mean you can then go to this panel at the bottom, which is extra, and you can set your own attack and release, and that really changes the usability of this because it had some insane attack and release times, the original one. I did a bit of a search around and see what time constant people like to use for things, and people didn't like to use that on much. Baby drums. 2 was good on bass or maybe drums. 3, vocals or the mix. 4, buses or the mix. 5, mastering. And 6, I've just written down weird because it's got a 25-second release time. 25 seconds. But originally this was designed for cutting vinyl, so you can sort of understand it in a way. But yeah, very fast attack and very slow release times in general on a Fairchild. This gives you the opportunity to change that up, which means it would be way more useful for drum buses and things. So you've got your time constants there on the right. You've then got your link, whether you want them totally individual, 2 separate ones, or whether you want them linked in mid-side or not. And then this panel down the bottom, the hardware Unfairchild had this, but this is slightly more useful. So you've got your separate attack and release for left and right. You've then got what's called the DC threshold, and I had to write this down because it's really hard to explain the DC threshold. So it says in the manual, this control does 2 things. It adjusts the range of volume that the threshold control is sensitive to, and it also changes the ratio or knee of the compression. In the fully counterclockwise position, the Unfairchild will be sensitive to the lowest range of input levels and have the softest knee or lowest possible ratio. As the control is turned clockwise, the ratio increases and the threshold becomes less sensitive and requires a higher setting to maintain the same amount of compression.
Thought so.
Yeah, obvious. So actually a really useful control that isn't on the original. It just makes the whole thing more useful. I've did the normal testing it on a bunch of different stuff. It's not really often used on drum buses by many people, but I quite like it on a drum bus. I think it does something interesting. It has some extra things at the top here as well. Obviously you can see you got your oversampling. You can set your THD amount. That's really useful. And the mix control, again, really, really useful.
Total harmonic distortion.
Yeah, just how much colour it's adding. And I used to use the Waves one of these on my mix bus, probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, because it was a nice thing to add some colour. I wasn't compressing at all with it. It was just literally going through it. And you can do that with this. You can set the needle so it's doing virtually nothing compression wise, but it still has a sound. So yeah, it's very rescalable, by the way. You can make it as big as you like on your screen. Useful.
Oi oi.
Oi oi. But yeah, I think it's a very interesting addition to the existing Fairchild emulators that are out.
Well, I'm glad we hadn't had a pub lunch before we reviewed this.
Yeah, you'd definitely be asleep by now, wouldn't you? Yeah, I know.
Yes. So,
what do you want to know? Demo, 14 days.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And then it's 50 quid, I'm guessing.
No. Okay, so the full price, $249. That's pokey.
But I'm guessing.
Because it's new, it'll be in sale.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't.
$199. That wasn't what you were going to say.
No, it wasn't. I'm saying, I was going to say that this is pretty specialist. And I reckon they've probably done it because there's probably a market for it, because they make the hardware replicas.
Yes. Well, an actual.
They're trading on their they're trading on the name of a copy.
It's a weird one, but yeah, they are. An actual Fairchild is going to set you back over 30, possibly 40 grand. Mm-hmm. The Unfairchild, I think they're 10 or something. They might even be more than that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. So if you're looking at something that is close to that, to the point where not many people are going to be able to tell in a mix, then maybe 250 quid or $199 or whatever isn't that bad.
No. I could let you into a little secret.
Go on.
I won't be buying one.
Well, I know you won't be buying one. It's not 50 quid. That's your cut-off. I found it interesting enough that...
you did buy it?
No. I didn't buy it, but I have done a shootout between this, the UAD one, and some other interesting compressors, which will be either out before this or after this. Don't know.
Excellent stuff.
So we will see.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need the verdict, really, don't we?
We do. Okay, so Sean, is the Unfairchild
from Undertone Audio and Mixland?
From Undertone Audio and Mixland?
Yes.
Shit.
No, I think it's very, very good. Very, very good. Possibly the best Fairchild plugin.
Good.
Certainly the most flexible.
Yep.
If you know that sound is something you want to experiment with, go and get the demo, and you'll know whether you want to spend $199 on it or not, basically.
I can tell you without going to get the demo.
Cool, good. Clear.
All right, before you go and check the demo, please like this video.
That would be cool, and you could become a channel member or subscribe to the channel. That always helps.
We've got a Instagram, Studio Life 101, and a Patreon. All of the links are below the video. So until next time, sayonara, suckers.
Adios.